Hi, welcome. My name is Kristi Sullivan. I'm with Sullivan Financial Planning. I am here today to do a quick little talk about investing in pot. So if you look at my website, you'll know that I am a Denver-based financial planner. So in Colorado, we were one of the first states to legalize recreational marijuana and medical, I think, too. So I've had quite a few people, potential clients, friends ask me, well, how do I invest in pot? It seems like a growth industry. I'd love to get in on the ground floor. And I applaud the idea of taking that early risk and trying to get into what you think is a growth industry early on. The trick is with investing in marijuana companies is that it's still considered a class 1 drug in the US, marijuana is. So you can't buy on the stock market any pot related stocks because the stock market is regulated by the SEC, which is a federal government entity. And there are a lot of barriers to making money in the pot business. So even if you wanted to go in with somebody in a partnership in a pot store or a pot grow, it's tricky. One of the big deals is that many banks do not want to do business with pot companies, again, because of their federal regulations. I recently went to a panel discussion at the Financial Planning Association of Colorado, where I learned surprisingly that banking with pot companies is not illegal, as I had previously thought, but it is expensive. The banks that choose to do this business have to put some really stringent regulatory practices in place in order to not lose their FDIC insurance or get in trouble with the federal government. A lot of it is based on money laundering laws that came into effect after 9/11. So it's expensive for banks to provide banking services to pot companies. Therefore, they charge very high fees, anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 or even more per month to allow pot companies to bank with them. That's a huge expense if you're a small business of any kind. So a lot of pot businesses do resort to just banking in cash, which again has its risks, robbery, employee theft. It's just a real pain in general to have to pay your income taxes in stacks of $100 bills that have to be couriered over by an armed service. So that aspect was interesting to me, learning how expensive it is to be in the pot business, how for some smaller companies, maybe it's really not all that profitable. Also, I realized that in this panel discussion that people who own pot businesses do pay federal income taxes, but they are not allowed to write off many of the expenses that small business owners are allowed to. So they can write off the pot plant, the cost of goods sold only, but not the many other expenses that go into running a business, like your rent, using your car, other things that office supplies. So the marginal tax rate of a pot business is very high, another very high cost of business that can keep small business owners from being profitable. I'm not saying they're not, I don't know enough about it, but it was a very interesting panel discussion. One thing I did learn is that if you want to invest in marijuana stocks, and that would be really of the big growers, the multi-state operators that do a lot of, they have big operations that are listed on a stock exchange. You can look to our neighbors to the north, the Canadians, who have legalized pot, and they do allow for IPOs on their stock exchange for pot businesses. So you could purchase stock in pot businesses that way. Also, not surprisingly, the Colombian Stock Exchange does offer pot stocks for sale. I'm not really familiar with how you would invest on the Colombian Stock Exchange, but I'm sure there's a way to do it. So in conclusion, the pot business is still very much in its infancy as a business, and it has a lot of hurdles to come over until which time, and I'm assuming it'll come eventually, that nationally pot is legal or not considered illegal. I'm not sure what the ramifications are with that. It may be 5 or 10 or 20 years down the road. It'll probably happen, though, as more and more states adopt pot as a legal substance to consume personally. So anyway, I hope that helps. If you're thinking about investing pot, Canada or Colombia, or maybe go into partnership with a pot shop, but don't expect it to be a huge moneymaker at first. Thanks and have a great day.